Hey everyone, it's your girl Layla. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another episode of Spooktober. I can't believe how fast this month has been going by. I'm just running out of time to go to these places now. I have 2 more left and I'm really not even sure where I'm going to be going this week and the week after because Halloween is actually on a Wednesday as well, so that will be my last episode of Spooktober. I do have an idea of where I want to go, but to actually go there, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm gonna try. Again, if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and click the subscribe button below. I upload videos every Sunday and Wednesday. I'm really hoping you guys like my new Halloween themed intro and outro because I'm really enjoying it. Anyways, let's actually go ahead and get started on this video. So out of the 2 paranormal story times I've already done for Spooktober, this is probably the one that I did the most research on because I have 3 pages of it and I just wanted to find more. I wanted to find more than what websites like Narcity Canada and Avenue Calgary would have because they just had like little blurbs on each haunted house and each scary place, and I wanted more. I wanted more than just like, okay, so there's a translucent couple in the dining room. I did go to the Lougheed house a few days before I went to the Rouge, and my last video was on the Rouge, but I decided that I wanted to do more research on this house, so that's why it took me a little bit longer to do this video. Lougheed house is sometimes known as the, I think it's below, I don't know, you guys. I used to be so good at French. I took like 7 years of French and I don't know how to pronounce this word. I think it's the Berlot garden, meaning like beautiful garden. So this house is surrounded by a bunch of gardens and that's what the gardens are named after, the Berlot gardens, and then the house is called the Lougheed house. So it is located in downtown Calgary. It is a mansion and was once on the very edge, on the outskirts of the city, but if you go there today, you'll be very surprised about the location because it's definitely not on the outskirts of the city by any means. It's right in the middle of downtown and the Beltline. It's very close to the Red Mile on 17th Ave. If you're wondering on where to check it out, I really like it. It's something that I would definitely want to go back to. Like, I would definitely like to go to the gardens in the summertime and everything like that because I think it's such a beautiful place. So it was home to Senator James Alexander Lougheed, and it was built in 1891 and expanded in 1907. It is now a historic site and it's very popular for weddings and special events like cosplay days. So they have days where you can dress up in old-fashioned clothing and you can all go chill at the Lougheed house, you know? So I think that's really cool. Also have high tea, which is really cool. They have a little restaurant in the house, which I did not get to go to because I think the restaurant closed at 2 and I went there at like 3, so I missed it by like an hour, but their food looks really good and I probably would go back and check that out. So okay, let's get started on what you guys want to know, which is the hauntings. So this house is said to be haunted by several ghosts. Visitors have reported seeing a translucent couple in the ballroom. So the ballroom is, I believe, on the like basement level. Like when you enter on the basement level and then you go up. I think it's like 3 floors in total. I do have a tour for you guys at the end of the video as usual, so you guys will see that. But the ballroom is kind of like an enclosed space. Like, I thought it would be a lot bigger than it is, but it's not. I would say it's definitely bigger than a dance floor, like your average dance floor, but it's not a very big area. And if I saw a translucent couple down there because it's in the basement area, I think that would be a little scary. So people also report seeing an old woman in old-fashioned clothing appearing at the front window, and this is where Mrs. Lougheed would sit and watch the busy Calgary street below. Could you guys imagine that? So the Lougheed house is surrounded by condos and apartments and like really tall buildings. Can you imagine living in one of those buildings and seeing Mrs. Lougheed's ghost appear in the middle of the night looking out the window? Like, I think that would be so terrifying but so cool at the same time. This is where the research got juicy because I wanted to know more, like I said. So I went on a website where paranormal researchers actually went into the house to do a little bit of ghost hunting themselves, and I'm going to tell you what they found. They set up cameras and microphones all around the house, and they reviewed the footage. They noticed that lights turned on and off several times on all floors, and no one was on the floor where the lights were being turned on or off, and the rooms were actually locked at the time. In Mrs. Lougheed's bedroom, they have seen movement out of the corner of their eyes and furniture being moved. So I did take a note about when I did go to Mrs. Lougheed's bedroom and look around, and I personally, this is where I felt the most uncomfortable throughout my whole entire tour there. I thought the furniture and everything was beautiful, but there was something about the room. It was like that she was, I don't know, it almost felt like either somebody was watching me or like she was gonna come back into the room, and like, I don't know, it's weird. Like it felt like going into somebody else's room and knowing that they were gonna come back and get something or whatever, you know, like they were gonna come back and catch you there, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know how to explain it, but that's how I felt. They had one of her like old-fashioned dresses on top of her bed, and it literally looked like she was going to come back into the room in the next like 5-10 minutes and, you know, change out of whatever she was wearing into this really fancy dress for a party or something. That's how it felt like. I had that vibe when I went to her room, although I thought it was beautiful. As far as like cold spots and everything, there was some areas where it did feel sort of cold, but I always just chalk it up to, you know, it's an older house, there's probably like a draft or something. So that's something to keep in mind. The very last thing that people have noticed is, so children that have visited the Lougheed house during school field trips and whatnot have asked school staff, who is the woman in the window? And when staff looked up, they would not know what the children were talking about. Children are definitely very susceptible to seeing things like ghosts, apparitions, spirits, anything of that sort. And I think it's very interesting that they saw an old lady in the window and they asked their school staff, like, who is that? It's probably Mrs. Lougheed. It probably is her. I definitely learned a lot during my little tour there. I just basically, they had two options. They had like a guide, no, they didn't have a guided tour. They had like a audio tour and just a regular tour where you get a map and you just walk around the house. And I did that. I just grabbed a map and walked around the house, and it definitely took a lot of video footage for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy the tour at the end of the video. I think that this house was beautiful, and it's definitely one of my favorite places that I visited so far. I just felt like I took a step back in time, and it actually reminded me a lot of O'Keefe Ranch back in my hometown. It reminded me of going there as a child. And this building is definitely a lot fancier because it's like a mansion, but it did give me that vibe. I learned a lot because it was very interactive. Like there would be signs throughout the house and on the map giving history about the Lougheeds and who they were and what they liked, and you know, how many of them lived in the house. So I really did enjoy this experience, and I definitely recommend it if you're in Calgary. If you want, you know, just a little bit more history of the city, it's definitely a cool place to go. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye everyone. you.